Manchu is one of the most interesting and powerful nations that you can play in Asia, and personally my favorite horde. This guide will show you how to unite Manchu, kill Ming, and unite whole region together with Korea and get ready to attack Japan in just couple of decades of the game. First step is of course setting up rivals. We're going to try a Haitian Udege because those two be our first warlords and some third nation. Then we'll mothball the fleet, but do not delete it because it will be useful in the future, and build all of the banners, which remember, they use just 25% of the manpower and they are 50% cheaper in the maintenance. Third step are the estates. You're going to sell the titles to get some money, get privilege for morale and the manpower, and finally take whatever mission that you're going to get. Our diplomats will be improving relations with Solon and Yuran, so they will not join our coalition after the first wars, and later, while at war with Haitian Udege, will be also improving with Oirat to ally them later and use them against Ming. In the first months we want to take the Mill Advisor, we want an admin focus, and boost the stability to 1, which will unlock as a mission that gives us permanent stab cost modifier. So from Haitian Udege we'll need 3 provinces to get a mission tree for claims for whole Manchuria, but in total we need 20 provinces in the Manchuria region to form Manchu, which will give us cores on all the other provinces. So when we annex both Haitian and Udege, that's 18 provinces in total, so you need to keep in mind to get 2 extra provinces. So for example, if they're going to be allied to Donghai, we're going to call Donghai as a co-belligerent to be able to take those 2 provinces. Just keep in mind the wars themselves are going to be super easy because they have less troops than you and with the worst quality. So you're going to focus on stack wiping the armies and then fully occupying carp besieging all the other provinces to not let them rebuild the army. Personally, I'm raising all of the provinces conquering here. I know it's a Manchu culture, so some people do not like to do it, but I'm raising everything except Jirin to be able to core everything ASAP, which will help us forming Manchu quicker. This raising will also help us get both Diplo and Mildex ahead of time, which is going to be free innovativeness for us. Once you core all of these provinces, you first of all get the mission with the shock damage and claims on Manchu, and second of all, you're going to be able to form Manchu itself. And now as for the ideas, it will depend if you're going to take Manchu ideas or not. If you're planning to go for Qing, do not take the Manchu ideas, because Jianzhou ideas have better opener, which is morale of armies and additional manpower, which will be super useful to kill Ming. But if you plan to stay horde long term and play as Manchu, well, the Manchurian ideas are better in the long term. So if you're forming Qing, keep the ideas. If you're staying Manchu, take the Manchu ideas. So now we have cores on whole Manchuria and even a couple of provinces of Ming. And our next goals is going to unite this whole region ASAP, even doing a few wars at once, which will give us new claims on the Mongolia, on the Korsin, and even on Korea. In the meantime, we'll be building galleys towards our force limit, because later we're going to use both versus Ming or even against Japan. As you have claims on whole Korea, attack them, and this should be also easy war as you're having already way more troops and the quality difference is also gigantic. From Korea, take the peace deal that will allow you to get claims on the Japanese provinces in the future. In the meantime, institution came, right? So we need to focus on getting the Miltech 5, which is super important to deal with Ming, and then we are going to dev our capital with all of the mill points and the Diplo points. The last step before going after Ming is to cure Korchin, and once that's done, we're going to break the tribute with Ming. Right now we are gigantic great power, over 300 development, so Ming should start getting the disaster because of us. And we are pretty much ready to fight Ming once we core all of these provinces. Just remember, we need to also get more troops, especially the cavalry banners and additional troops to fight with Ming. It should be around 20 few thousand of manpower troops. What is interesting, around the same time, Ming is taking the first reform, which means the mandate is dropping just to 20, which will make our life way easier. Before starting the war, we should be more or less able to embrace the institution. Around 1460, or even a little bit later, we should be able to get the Free Company, which will get us up to 30,000 troops in total, and we will be able to declare on Ming on take mandate casus belli. This casus belli is very useful because it makes you take the provinces 50% cheaper, but the war goal is of course not so easy because we have to take Beijing. The war itself shouldn't be hard because army quality difference is gigantic thanks to mission tree, the great general from the mission, and just the fact that you're an early game horde. What you're going to focus on the war is to take Shenyang and Beijing forts, so they'll not be trying to get into our terrains and occupy them, and focus on winning battles with smaller stacks, which should be very easy stack wipes, even up to 20,000 troops that we can take down. And also by taking this fort, we're opening the whole East China with well developed provinces to occupy, which is going to be out of free war score, and in the meantime Oirat, which remember we allied and called in this war, is going to also tank it and occupy the other provinces. In the peace deal itself, we are going to take almost 3,000 ducats, war reparations, all of our cores and claims, and a little bit more of the provinces. Do not give anything to Oirat. Around this point we should be able to take our first idea group, and here it of course totally depends on your strategy. I'm not going to force you to take anything, but if you take a look at horde ideas, it might be a very good idea to take it over here, because it gives you cheaper and stronger cav, it gives you stability of the country, which is super important for the horde. After the war with Ming, we are going to break our alliance with Oirat, we do not need them any longer, and in the second we'll be also fighting with them because we have tons of the claims on Mongolia. Just after the Ming war, our truce with Korea should be ending, and if we attack them, Ming will be called, which is not a bad idea, because first of all, it will shorten our truce with Ming a little bit, and second of all, we're going to take the 25% war score of money again, so free money and shorter truce thanks to it. Now our next expansion goal is, as I mentioned, Mongolia and Oirat, as we have claims over there, so we're going to attack them, which will be also an easy war. And what is interesting, around this point, China, which should be so broken and full of rebels, that there might be some countries, smaller Chinese miners, breaking out of them. And there are events for Manchu that when a Chinese miner is breaking and is bordering you, you're getting claims on them, and you're getting an event that is making you being at war with them right away, which happens right here for me on the northern China. So you can see that around 1480 the country is really strong, you have infinite amount of the manpower, infinite amount of the money, your army quality is enormous, so there might be a question what I should do next. Well, if you want to go for Qing, the next war with Ming is going to be take the mandate, and inside this war we're going to take the mandate, which will allow us to form Qing and take their ideas, which are really nice for the single player. If you do not want to form Qing, well, just keep expanding like crazy in China, and the steps depending of course on your goals. At the same time, I would recommend trying to go after Japan, because at this point most of the subjects of daimyos of Ashikaga should be bigger, and if they are bigger it means they're going to be all disloyal. So if you attack just one of them and we try avoiding fighting with the others, then it will be a very easy war. Just we need to play with our fleet very smart, because by an accident all of those disloyal daimyos might be trying to attack us. So yeah guys, this is all for this guide. I hope that you really enjoyed this. I think Manchu is still one of my favorite countries to play. And for today, thank you so much for watching, and guys, if we do hit 2000 likes on this video, I'm going to create another guide in the next week. So if you want me to suggest what I should do next, leave a comment and tell me what kind of a guide for which nation you do really need right now. Thank you so much, and see you soon.